we are going to be using our x and our y intercepts to graph. Okay? When we use y equals mx plus b, we're using the slope and the y-intercept to graph. But when we can graph in lots of ways. Okay, so one of the ways that they're going to ask you to graph is to graph by using only 2 points. And the 2 points that they want are very specific points. They want the x-intercept and they want the y-intercept. Okay, so remember what it means to be, if you are a y-intercept right here, what does that mean? What does it mean to be a y-intercept? That's that B. Who can explain it to me? Alex.
That's where the line crosses the y-axis.
It's where the line crosses the y-axis. What else does it mean? If I had to write it as a ordered pair or a point, what would I write for that y-intercept? What's the ordered pair for that orange point I put on the graph, the DT?
0, 4.
It's 0, 4. This is the point 0, 4. Okay? Now, I want to put a point on my x-axis. Oh, I should have changed the color. Let's change it to pink. I put a point on my x-axis. My pink dot is my x-intercept. What does it mean to be an x-intercept? Tessa?
It's first in the...
Well, y-intercept was the point where it crossed the y-axis. So what's the x-intercept?
Where it crosses the x-axis?
It's the point where it crosses the x-axis. So it crossed my x-axis at 5. But what is it as a point? Because look, it's a dot. It's a point. That means it's an ordered pair. So what's the ordered pair that I would write? Sam?
0, 5.
0, 5. Are you sure?
5, 0.
5, 0. The x value always comes first. Okay, so my x is 5. My y is 0. Okay? Yes? We're good? Now guess what? I can make a line. Because any 2 dots represent a line. Yes? Okay, so by having 2 points, I can make a line. But they want us to graph using these 2 specific points. They don't want us to just plug in any numbers. They want us to use only the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So we know that the y-intercept... All right, let's change the color. That the y-intercept has the x value of 0 and then the point where it crosses the y-axis. And we know that the x-intercept has a y value of 0. Okay, that comes in really handy. Let's see if we can change this page or erase. I'm going to erase. There must be an easier way to do it, but that's all right.
You can probably clear it.
I probably can clear it. We'll learn it as we go. Okay? Lovely. Okay. So now they give us an equation like y equals 4x plus 2. Okay? And their directions are going to say graph using the intercepts. So graph using the intercepts means graph using 2 points, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Okay, so I want to graph using the points. So if I make my traditional XY chart, which we've been doing, what am I going to plug in to make sure that I get 2 points that are the intercepts?
-1, 0, 1.
Nope, it's not going to give me the intercepts. If I want the y-intercept, What value do I plug in for x? What do you think, Emma?
0.
I plug in 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x, and I'm going to end up with my y-intercept. But now, so if this is my y-intercept, what do I plug in so that I end up with my x-intercept? Hebrew, what do you think?
4.
Well, 4 is the value, it's just a number. How do you know that's going to give you where it crosses? Think about what it means to cross this x-axis. What's the value of y when you're crossing the x-axis? Nina, do you know? If I have a point sitting on my x-axis anywhere, what's the value of y? Emma, what do you think?
0.
It's 0. So my x-intercept always has a y value of 0. Always, always, always. So if I plug in 0 for y, what am I going to get out?
2. 1.
No, I'm not looking for a number. I'm looking for the answer x-intercept. If you plug in 0 for y, you always, always, always get a number. And the number you solve for is this x. So whatever number it is, let's just call it x for now. Whatever number it is, it's now a point, but it's a point x comma 0, which makes it the x-intercept. And this is 0 comma y, whatever number it is that you solve for. And this is the y-intercept. Okay, so we know that we have to plug in an x, or 0 for x, to get the y-intercept. And we have to plug in a 0 for y in order to get the x-intercept. Okay, so we're going to do it. So, where was the clear all?
I think it could help you.
Yeah, it'll erase the
Exactly.
Just erase the thing. Oh wow. It's like undoing everything.
All right, there's got to be a better erase.
The very top button on the bottom.
Oh, it's still erasing. That's awesome. Oh, you went and
Oh, I clicked it 100 times. Okay, that's all right. Look, it's magically disappearing one line at a time.
it's done now. Oh my gosh.
Okay. I think erase it. Stop it. See if this makes sense. You're gonna go.
You're gonna clear a little page.
You're gonna go back to where unerases is what?
All right, you ready?
Erasing.
All right. Note to self: figure out clear all. All right.
Tessa was right.
So every time Tessa goes up there, she breaks it.
She didn't break that.
She didn't break it.
I was right.
She was right. I hit it too many times. Okay, back to my clear screen. So, remind me, what was our equation? Y equals
4x plus 2.
plus 2. Okay, there it is. So now we have to graph this using only the intercepts. Okay, so I'm going to make my little chart, and I'm going to remind myself that in order to get the y-intercept, x is 0. And in order to get,
What was that?
I don't know, it doesn't matter. In order to get the x-intercept, y is 0. Don't move so much.
No, you're fun.
Okay, thank you, dear. Okay, so I'm going to take 0 and I'm going to plug it in for x. And I'm going to say I have y equals 4x plus 2. And I'm going to plug in my 0 for x in order to solve for my y. And when I do this, I do the math, and I get 4 times 0 is 0 plus 2. Tanner, sit. It's not okay to get up in the middle. Okay, and y is equal to 2. And so now I have a point that I can graph. 0, 2 is right here. Okay, now I want to solve for the x-intercept.
What are we doing? Are we graphing this on a different graph? We just did.
You can put it on whatever graph you have that's open and blank.
It's not blank.
Okay, well,
Another one?
get a new one. Okay, so now I'm going to rewrite my equation, and I want to solve for my I want to solve for my x-intercept, which means that my y is 0. So I want to plug in 0 for y, and I want to solve my equation. Now this goes back to the last chapter. This is supposed to be a 4.